the most honest, organic, truthful depiction of that moment I could have ever dreamed of.
Ron Howard, the iconic actor and director, has built a legacy of timeless stories. But beyond his legacy and well-crafted image, his sprawling estate has become the center of wild rumors, resulting in lots of speculation from intrigued fans, whispers of hidden treasures, and perhaps something wilder has just begun to spread. Now, what they found in Ron Howard's estate has got everyone talking and will leave you in shock. What exactly could be hidden there? Join us as we uncover the truth behind what they found in Ron Howard's estate that has left many in shock. Ron Howard's estate, a peaceful retreat with no secrets. For 2 decades, Ron Howard's sprawling 32-acre estate in the Conyers Farm gated community of Greenwich, Connecticut, stood as a sanctuary for his family. Unlike the mysterious and scandal-ridden estates of some Hollywood elites, Howard's property held no shocking secrets before or after he decided to sell it. It was exactly what it appeared to be, a peaceful retreat designed for family, nature, and creativity. With an asking price of $27.5 million, the estate was more than just a luxurious home, it was a fully functional farm. The property boasted an organic vegetable garden, a greenhouse, and barns for both livestock and horses. Paddocks and a riding ring sprawled across the landscape, while a private observatory allowed for breathtaking views of the night sky. Winding nature trails completed the picture, making it the perfect escape from the chaos of Hollywood. Howard had moved his family 3,000 miles away from Los Angeles to build a life grounded in nature and simplicity. He once reflected on their time there, saying, "Whether we're watching films in our theater, walking the trails throughout our property, stargazing in our observatory, or just relaxing with friends and loved ones by the lake, Cheryl and I feel we've accomplished the goals we set when we began work on this place." After years of creating unforgettable stories on the big screen, Howard's estate told one of its own, a story of serenity, family, and purpose. And unlike many celebrity properties that harbor dark pasts or hidden scandals, this estate remained exactly as it appeared, a beautiful, peaceful home with nothing wild or unexpected lurking within its walls. But beyond his peaceful estate, Howard faced controversy. How did he respond? Keep watching to find out. Ron Howard defended Hillbilly Elegy against political backlash. Ron Howard firmly stood by his film Hillbilly Elegy, pushing back against the political criticism it faced. During an interview with CBS Morning, the director addressed the backlash, believing it stemmed more from the political reputation of the film's source material rather than the movie itself. The Netflix drama, starring Glenn Close and Amy Adams, was based on J.D. Vance's memoir, a book that gained widespread attention during the 2016 election for its portrayal of the struggles faced by low-income white communities, many of whom supported Donald Trump. However, Howard insisted that politics were not at the heart of his film. "I do feel like they're looking at political thematics that they may or may not agree with, that honestly aren't really reflected or aren't front and center in this story," he explained. For him, Hillbilly Elegy was a deeply personal family drama, one that explored themes of addiction, survival, and resilience. Vance, who joined Howard in the discussion, acknowledged that many people projected political meaning onto the story, even though the film itself did not focus on major political issues. Instead, it shined a light on the devastating impact of substance addiction in poor Appalachian communities, a crisis that transcended political lines. Howard saw the project as an emotional and truthful story of hardship and perseverance, particularly in celebrating the strong women in Vance's life. Despite the film receiving mixed reviews, Close's performance as Mama was widely praised and even positioned her as an Oscar contender. The actress took her preparation seriously, relying on personal insights from Vance to shape her performance. Talking with the real JD was crucial. I asked how she sat, how she held her cigarette, what her voice was like, what her house looked like, plus pictures and video we got gave me a sense of who she was, Close explained. Although Hillbilly Elegy sparked controversy, Howard remained steadfast in his belief that the story was about family, not politics, and regardless of the debate surrounding it, the film stood as a testament to the resilience of those who fight to break the cycle of hardship. Despite defending Hillbilly Elegy, Howard later reacted to Vance's transformation. Why? Stay tuned to find out. Ron Howard expressed surprise over J.D. Vance's political shift. Howard openly shared his thoughts on J.D. Vance's unexpected rise in politics, years after adapting his memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, into a Netflix film. In an interview at the Toronto International Film Festival, the filmmaker admitted that he was both surprised and disappointed by Vance's shift toward far-right political rhetoric. During the production of Hillbilly Elegy, Howard and Vance barely discussed politics. The director had been far more focused on the personal aspects of Vance's story, his difficult upbringing and journey of resilience. We didn't talk a lot of politics when we were making the movie, because I was interested in his upbringing and that survival tale, Howard recalled. That's what we mostly focused on. However, in the years that followed, Vance transitioned from author to politician, eventually becoming a Republican senator from Ohio. As Howard reflected on their past conversations, he admitted that he was taken aback by Vance's current views. Based on the conversations that we had during that time, I just have to say I'm very surprised and disappointed by much of the rhetoric that I'm reading and hearing, he said. Howard noted that Vance had not expressed much interest in politics when they first met. When we spoke around the time that I knew him, he was not involved in politics or claimed to be particularly interested, he explained. But as time passed, Vance's stance evolved significantly, becoming more vocal and aligned with right-wing ideologies. Although Howard did not dwell too much on his personal feelings about Vance's political transformation, he did take the opportunity to stress the importance of voting in the then upcoming election, subtly encouraging people to stay engaged in the democratic process. As J.D. Vance's political career took a dramatic turn, Ron Howard made it clear that his focus remained on the present rather than dwelling on their past collaboration. Reflecting on Vance's shift and his new role as Donald Trump's vice president, Howard urged people to stay engaged in the political process. I think the important thing is to recognize what's going on today and to vote, Howard stated. It's not really about a movie made 5 or 6 years ago. It is, but we need to respond to what we're seeing, hearing, feeling now, and vote responsibly. Whatever that is, we must participate. That's my answer. Howard had directed Hillbilly Elegy, the 2020 Netflix adaptation of Vance's 2016 memoir. Since its release, both the book and film had faced significant criticism, with many arguing that Vance misrepresented Appalachian culture. Critics, including film reporter Scott Mendelson, accused the adaptation of being an outsider's pity-filled perspective rather than an authentic portrayal. Hillbilly Elegy plays like privileged Hollywood outsiders looking in with pity so as to assuage their white liberal guilt. By ignoring the very specific politics and personal observations that made the book allegedly valuable as a memoir, the film negates its very reason for existing, Mendelson wrote in Forbes. Despite the backlash, Hillbilly Elegy achieved commercial success. The book climbed to number 1 on the New York Times bestseller list, while the movie dominated Netflix's most-watched rankings upon its release. Vance, who had once been an author and venture capitalist, was now firmly entrenched in the political world. On July 15th, he was announced as Trump's running mate for the 2024 election. He was also set to face off against Minnesota Governor Tim Walz in a vice presidential debate on October 1st. moderated by CBS News' Margaret Brennan and Nora O'Donnell. Howard's comments underscored his belief that political engagement mattered far more than revisiting an old film. Rather than focusing on hillbilly elegy, he emphasized the responsibility of voters to actively participate in shaping the country's future. Beyond politics, Howard held firm beliefs at home. Why did he forbid his daughter from acting as a child? Let's find out. Ron Howard's strict rule against child acting for his daughter Bryce. Ron Howard had firm reasons for forbidding his daughter, Bryce Dallas Howard, from acting as a child. Although he himself rose to fame at the age of 6 on The Andy Griffith Show, he did not want his children to follow the same path at a young age. Bryce recently revealed that Howard never allowed her or her siblings to pursue acting during their childhood. In an interview with People magazine, Howard explained his concerns about the risks that young actors face in Hollywood. It's possible for child performers to really find a lot that is positive within it, but it's fraught with landmines, Howard said. His younger brother, Clint Howard, had started acting at just 2 years old, giving him first-hand experience with the challenges of growing up in the industry. While speaking with People, Howard recalled how his parents, Rance and Jean, who were both actors, had dedicated significant time to supervising their young sons' acting careers. His mother, Jean, even took a long hiatus from acting to support them. She later passed away in 2000 at the age of 73 due to heart and respiratory illness. His father, Rance, died in 2017 from congestive heart failure at the age of 89. Howard and his wife Cheryl, whom he married in 1975, raised 4 children: Bryce, twin daughters Jocelyn and Paige, and their youngest son, Reed. Despite their Hollywood background, Howard remained firm about keeping them away from acting as children. Another major reason for his decision was the fear that his children would face unfair comparisons to his own career. The Andy Griffith Show had already become mythically significant in TV history, he explained, on top of everything else, because the characters that I played as a child were so well known as to almost be iconic. I also thought, hey, if one of our kids tries to act as a child, boy or girl, they're going to be unfairly compared. Instead of acting as a child, Bryce pursued formal education in drama at New York University's Tisch School of the Arts. However, she took a leave of absence to explore opportunities in theater. At 22, she landed her breakout role as the lead in M. Night Shyamalan's 2004 thriller, The Village, officially launching her Hollywood career on her own terms. During an interview with People last year, Bryce admitted that she would have preferred to start her acting career at a younger age. I think if I had the chance to act younger, I would have taken it. But I wasn't allowed to, she said. My parents were very firm on that boundary, that they were not going to support anyone who wanted to be a child actor. However, in hindsight, the Golden Globe Award nominee expressed gratitude for her parents' decision. I'm really glad that they did that, because when I did start acting, it took a while to make a living. To be able to be like, oh, okay, I can actually support myself with this, she recalled. The Jurassic World star also shared that she and Howard has a great relationship, telling People that the two loved to talk about the movies, but it's usually admiring people's work and kind of gushing about things, or sharing crazy stories that turned around, or just fun things, Bryce explained. She also expressed appreciation for having family members in the same industry. It's so wonderful to get to be in an industry with family members, for me at least, because I'm not alone in it, she added. Howard's stance on child acting shaped his career. Ever wondered how? Keep watching to know more. Ron Howard's rise, from child star to acclaimed director. Few actors have made such a flawless transition into filmmaking as Ron Howard. While Hollywood has seen actors like Clint Eastwood and George Clooney succeed behind the camera, Howard established a name among the greatest. He was more than just an actor turned director. He was a defining figure in modern cinema. Howard rose to prominence on television during the 1960s and 1970s. Families throughout America saw him grow up on The Andy Griffith Show and later as Richie Cunningham on Happy Days. However, whereas many child stars struggled to break off from their early roles, Howard had a different perspective. In 1977, he made his debut feature film, Grand Theft Auto, a fast-paced, rebellious film that, despite its limited popularity, demonstrated that he had more to give behind the camera. However, his directing career was not an immediate success. Throughout the 1980s and early 1990s, Howard experimented with several genres, directing Splash with Tom Hanks and Willow, a fantasy adventure with Warwick Davis. Some films did well, while others failed to impress. Nevertheless, he refused to be discouraged. His perseverance paid off, as he achieved continuous success at the turn of the millennium. Howard directed How the Grinch Stole Christmas, a daring retelling of the iconic Dr. Seuss story, in 2000, and followed it up with A Beautiful Mind, which cemented his name. Critics accused the film of sugarcoating history, but Howard defended his choices. In a 2001 interview with DVD Talk, he admitted that some details had been omitted to serve the core story. Yet, the backlash bothered him. "I wasn't losing sleep," he explained, "but I found the whole thing upsetting. And when I felt it could have a negative impact on John's life, that's when I really got angry." Despite the controversy, A Beautiful Mind became one of the defining films of the early 2000s, proving that Howard had evolved from a beloved TV star into one of Hollywood's most celebrated filmmakers. Howard's journey in storytelling expanded beyond films, leading him to explore aging science. How did he do this? Keep watching to find out. Ron Howard explored the science of aging in National Geographic's Breakthrough. The world had come to know Ron Howard in different roles, whether as Opie from The Andy Griffith Show, Richie Cunningham from Happy Days, or the Oscar-winning director of films like A Beautiful Mind and Apollo 13. Later in his career, he expanded his repertoire into documentary filmmaking, serving as the executive producer of Breakthrough, a National Geographic Channel series exploring scientific fields that were poised for major discoveries. The 6-episode series aired on Sundays, running through December 13th, with each episode covering a different scientific topic, helmed by a different high-profile director. Angela Bassett explored the looming global water crisis. Akiva Goldsman examined the future of energy, and Paul Giamatti delved into biotechnology's attempts to enhance human capabilities. Howard directed an episode focused on the science of aging, questioning how humans could maintain their health for longer periods. In an interview with National Geographic, he discussed the research behind aging, reflected on his own youth, and admitted that he had been a poor science student. Our premise in the series was to take a look at so many of the exciting and fascinating scientific breakthroughs on the near horizon, Howard explained. And from there, to understand who the scientists are who are asking the tough questions and confronting the challenges. What are the controversies around those issues? Why can't breakthroughs be immediate? That's the energy we hope to capture. He emphasized that the directors chosen for the series had a deeply humanistic approach to storytelling. While maintaining scientific accuracy, the focus remained on the people driving these discoveries. Howard admitted that he had never excelled in science, but he had grown to appreciate the stories surrounding it. "I was a terrible science student, so I could never be a scientist. My mind doesn't work that way," he confessed. "But I've learned to love the stories around science, and I have so much respect and fascination for the people who can make discoveries and find applications. There's a lot of drama there." He had chosen to explore aging because of its universal significance. "It's a question that's been asked forever," he remarked. "Even when we're young and think it won't relate to us, there are going to be loved ones and people we care about who are navigating that part of their lives. Howard also shared that the documentary took unexpected turns. While most assumed that maintaining healthy habits was the key to longevity, research revealed that the body functioned in far more complex ways. He was also surprised to learn how challenging it was for researchers to gain FDA approval for their findings. When a group of esteemed researchers and scientists present materials to the FDA, it's kind of a nail-biting, tightrope-walking exercise, he noted. Despite the frustrations, Howard acknowledged the necessity of rigorous scientific scrutiny. He also pointed out that the goal of aging research wasn't simply to extend life, but to enhance the quality of life by delaying the onset of diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, cancer, and Alzheimer's. That's the way to enrich lives, he concluded. One of the researchers had pointed out that the focus wasn't just on extending life or improving well-being, but also on recognizing the productivity value that came with it. The idea was that if experienced individuals retained their vitality, they wouldn't just share their hard-earned wisdom in conversations, they could continue to lead and contribute actively. Howard had laughed as he reflected on his own aging process. While he still felt young and full of energy, he admitted that he had started noticing aches and pains that hadn't been there 10 or 12 years earlier. These weren't just lingering sports injuries. There was something else happening. He acknowledged that he no longer viewed the future as an endless horizon. Instead, he had begun to feel the steady passage of time, as if he could sense the calendar pages turning. So, what are your thoughts on Ron Howard's estate and the kind of life he has lived so far? Let us know in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video shown on your screen to catch up on your favorite celebrity stories. See you there!